You're right guys, in this video I'm going to be reviewing the DK7010 Oscillating Belt and Bobbin Sander. Another mouthful, but it's basically the belt and spindle sander that's for sale on rutlands.co.uk. I brought this sander about 6 months ago now, so I've had a good chance to get used to it and to see what I like and what I don't like about it. Now please bear in mind I am just an average Joe, I'm no professional by any means, but I just want to share my opinion and I really hope you find the review helpful. Let's start with what's included. Of course you get the machine itself, the 4 bobbins and 5 80 grit sleeves for them. The smallest sleeve fits directly onto the shaft of the machine. There is also washers included for the bobbins. There is the table insert for when you are using the bobbins and 5 smaller inserts to suit the size of the bobbin that is in use. You also get a nut and spanner for tightening the bobbins into place. There is the belt sander attachment too. That's also supplied with a 610mm 80 grit belt. You also get the knob and washer to tighten the belt sander attachment into place. There's also a tabletop support included too. All of this is powered by a 450 watt motor. The belt sander attachment simply fits onto the shaft of the machine. You also need to line up the tab at the back of the belt in order for it to seat properly. When the belt is fully seated you can secure it in place with the included knob and washer. To fit or change the belt is easy. Just release the tension with the lever arm at the back of the belt. You can then remove the existing belt and add the new belt into place. To re-tension the belt, simply push the lever arm back into place. You can control tracking of the belt with the knob on the left hand side of the belt sander. To help support the workpiece, you can add the support to the tabletop. The small tab fits into the slot on the table and then you can secure it in place with the threaded knob. Okay, let's see the belt sander in action. To power the machine there is a simple on-off switch at the front. This is just a rough cut piece of 18mm plywood. I use a belt sander to quickly remove material, but this seems very slow going. The result is not to be desired. I'm left with a crown in the middle of the piece. I always get the same result, which renders the belt sander unusable for me. Now let's look at installing the bobbin sander. First I add the table insert. This just sits in place. You can choose the appropriate insert for the size of the bobbin you are going to use. The bobbin just fits directly onto the shaft of the machine. Unfortunately the included nut wouldn't fit because the thread was damaged inside. Not a big deal, I can get a replacement nut. I've been using the knob from the belt sander to secure the bobbins in place. Not ideal, but it gets the job done. When it's tightened it expands the rubber to grip the sanding sleeve and hold it into place. I then put the insert into place. If you are using a smaller bobbin you are best to do this first. To change the sanding sleeve on the bobbin, simply slide the old sleeve off and slide the new sleeve back on. Easy. Now let's see the bobbin sander in action. Again I feel it is a bit underpowered and slow going. I hoped it would remove material much faster than this. It is useful for those hard to reach places though. The machine features a tilting table at the front. To change the angle you need to loosen the knob on the left hand side and the one on the right hand side too. You can then move the table to the desired angle. Unfortunately my table does not exactly reach 90 degrees to the belt or bobbin sander, which is really disappointing. There are fixed stops for the more common angles. I think it needs to extend further than 0. This way you can dial in the exact point of 90 degrees on your unit, but I don't have this option unless I cut away some of the metal. The machine has a 63mm dust collection port. I haven't got an adapter for this size, but I think it would perform well as a lot of the dust does collect below the table. I haven't been able to try this though. You can store all the accessories on the machine itself, which is great. Bobbins and washers are at the front. Inserts on the sides, along with the nut and the nut spanner. And at the back you can store both the table insert and belt sander when either isn't in use. So that's it then guys. As you can probably tell by what I've said already, overall I can't recommend this sander. I got it because I liked how it's got both the belt and spindle sander in both. I have already got a belt sander and I was hoping to be able to get rid of that one, but I've got to keep hold of it because the belt on this sander, it's just not up to the job. I did look at the spindle sander on its own, that's also for sale at Rutlands, but that's got quite a small table and I did like the look of this one with the larger surface to work on. But even that hasn't really helped me out much because it's not 90 90 degrees, so I'm kind of stuck with that one. I am going to keep hold of it, I'm going to keep using it, because I'm thinking mainly I'm just going to use it for rough work. So if I've got tight corners to get into, it's still ideal with a thin small spindle to get into those tight areas, and I'll only use it as a rough sander anyway, so I'll always finish off the finished sanding with finer grits by hand. I do just want to go over a few good points that I like about it. I like how it's got the two uses in one, both the belt and the bobbin sander. I like how everything is stored on the machine as well. You can keep everything in one place and it's not going to get lost. It's also really light. When I first saw it, I thought that it would weigh a ton, but it's not. It's actually really light and easy to move around, which is a big plus in my small workspace. Now, you're going to know what I don't like. I don't like the fact that the table's out of alignment. I can't get it 90 degrees. Really, the gauge on the side needs to let you go past the 90 degrees so you can hold that in perfectly for your unit when you get it out of the box. But it just doesn't let you do that. You're stuck with that one position. What is really annoying is the fact that the belt sander doesn't sand straight. I keep getting that same crown on every single board I try against it. I've tried hardwoods, softwoods, plywoods, MDF, and they all get the exact same crown in the exact same place. And if I was to flip the board over to try and get rid of that, it just makes it even worse. I can't see where it's going wrong, because the panel behind it is actually flat. So I just can't work it out, to be honest with you. Maybe it's just my unit, maybe I've got a bit of a dodgy unit, but because all the reviews on Rutland's site are all 5 stars for this sander, so it has got me thinking if it's just my unit. But if I've got one like this, then I think it's possible a lot of other people could have one like this too. A little pet peeve as well was the fact that the nut didn't thread on properly. The thread was ruined on the inside, but that's nothing major. I can easily pick up a new nut, but again, it's just one of those things. You expect it to work straight out of the box, and it didn't, but it's not much of a big deal. So that's it then, guys. That's my review. I really hope you found it helpful. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. If you want to leave a comment, if you've got any questions about this tool or anything else in general, please leave a comment down below. I answer all comments. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please do so. I really appreciate it, and it really helps me out a lot. And also, if you know somebody who's in the market for a spindle and belt and bobbin sander, please do share it with them. Maybe they'll find it helpful too. So thank you all for watching again.